26th of December 1980, RAF Woodbridge, Suffolk, England. The base is home to United States Air Force A-10 Thunderbolt II tankbuster aircraft. The base is twinned with nearby RAF Bentwaters, home to more Thunderbolts, both bases forming the 81st Tactical Fighter Wing. It is the height of the Cold War, and the bases are sensitive security zones located in the midst of Rendlesham Forest, a 6-square-mile patch of dense woodland on the Suffolk coast. The events began on the evening of the 26th of December when a Sudbourne resident in the local village reported a mysterious shape like an upturned mushroom in the sky above his garden. At RAF Woodbridge, the usual teams of US Air Force guards are manning the various gates onto the base. It is 3 a.m. and all is quiet. At the base's east gate, 2 guards are on duty. Suddenly they see unusual lights descending into the dense trees some distance away. Thinking initially that an aircraft must be in trouble, the airmen receive permission from their duty chief to investigate on foot. 2 other Air Force personnel join them at the gate, but one is ordered to remain to guard the gateway. The other 3 begin to walk down the airfield's perimeter fence that skirts the woods in the direction of where they saw the lights descending. They are in contact with the base by radio. It is established by the guards that the lights had descended into the forest about 1 mile beyond the east gate, near the east end of the base runway. As they continued to walk further into the forest, the servicemen noticed that their radio transmissions began to break up. One man was left at the edge of the forest to relay any messages back to the gate, while the other 2 pressed on. Suddenly, the guards spotted something moving in the trees. There were bright lights flickering among the firs. Moving closer, the airman was surprised to see an object moving through the trees about 12 inches off the ground. It was black, conical-shaped, and about the size of a car, and was emitting strong beams of light. As the airmen walked closer, dumbfounded by what they were witnessing, they could see strange markings on the craft's side. But as they got closer, they reported a strange phenomenon. "I could not move. It was dreamlike," said one. "I felt slower on that night. Everything was on half speed, and something was wrong." Then, without warning, the craft rose rapidly into the sky in a blinding flash of light and was gone. Shortly after 4 a.m., Suffolk police was called to the scene by the US authorities. The policeman told the Americans that they had probably seen the lights from the Orford Ness Lighthouse on the coast some miles away, but the airmen were adamant that it was not the familiar beam of the lighthouse, but a strange craft that they had encountered in the forest. Once dawn broke on the 26th of December, a group of servicemen returned to where the craft had been seen. There, they discovered 3 small impressions in the ground in a triangular pattern. Each of the impressions was 1.5 inches deep and 7 inches wide. The surrounding trees had burn marks and broken branches. According to the Forestry Commission, who owns Rendlesham Forest, the trees around the clearing were tall and mature in 1980. The area has subsequently been replanted, but trees have not regrown in parts of the clearing where the strange craft was sighted. Was the ground somehow contaminated? At 10:30 a.m., the base called the local police out again, but the attending officers thought the impressions in the ground could have been made by an animal and dismissed the night's sighting. But this is not the end of the story. The American airmen at the base made preparations in case the strange craft returned again. A group of US servicemen were equipped with Geiger counters, arc lights, and recording equipment. All was quiet on the night of December 27th, but then strange reports began to arrive from guards on the night of the 28th. The Deputy Base Commander, Lt.Col Charles Halt, led a group of airmen back into the forest to investigate the site of the original landing. Colonel Halt's men took radiation readings at the small clearing where the craft had been reported on December 26th. The ground indentations gave a reading of 0.07 milliröntgens per hour, about twice the normal background radiation. During the encounter, Colonel Halt recorded his observations on a small handheld recording device.
Could be a blast. It's in the center of the ground. You're going to take us, I think, about 3 minutes. Here's to the 7 tenths there.
7 tenths right here in the center?
Uh-huh.
We found a small blast, what looks like a blasted or scrubbed up area here. We're getting very positive readings. Let's see, is that here?
But then a report arrived of a second sighting of some phenomena over an open field to the east of the forest. Colonel Halt and his men went to investigate. One thing Halt and his men noticed immediately was the disturbed behavior of local farmyard animals.
148, we're hearing very strange sounds out of the farmers' barnyard animals. It's very, very active, making an awful lot of noise.
Halt and his men tracked the moving object through the trees and watched, amazed, as pieces seemed to fall from it.
It is definitely coming this way. Pieces of it are shooting off. There is no doubt about it. This is weird.
To the left.
Yeah, definitely moving left.
Two lights. One light to the front,
Okay.
one light to the left.
Keep the flashlights off. There's something very, very strange.
The object was described variously as a huge eye with a dark center.
Come on. Okay, we're looking at the thing. We're probably about 200 to 300 yards away. It looks like an eye winking at you. It's still moving from side to side. And when you put the star scope on it, it sort of has a hollow center, a dark center. It's like the pupil of an eye looking at you and winking. And the flash is so bright to the star scope that...
Halt and his men pursued the vehicle, reporting that it was pyramidal in shape, approximately 30 feet across and 20 feet tall. After a chase of about an hour, the craft shot skywards. Elliptical pieces detached themselves from it, which lingered in the sky for approximately an hour. The craft then disappeared. During the encounter, the craft in the sky appeared to shoot beams down to the ground.
Yeah, we're both heading north. Okay, here he comes from the south. He's coming toward us now. Now we're observing what appears to be a beam coming down to the ground. This is unreal. 330, or 0330, and the objects are still in the sky, although the one to the south looks like it's losing a little bit of altitude. We're turning around and heading back toward the base. The object to the south is still beaming down lights to the ground.
Whatever the American airmen saw over 2 nights at Rendlesham Forest has never been satisfactorily explained. Were the lights simply the Orford Ness Lighthouse, a building the base personnel were familiar with? Were they lights from a nearby farmhouse? Were the lights in the sky seen by Halt and his men merely bright stars? Or did these highly trained Air Force personnel witness something extraterrestrial? That is for you to decide. Whatever the truth, the incident at Rendlesham Forest remains open to debate and is often called Britain's Roswell for good reason. Many thanks for watching, and a Merry Christmas to all my viewers.